Just doing a live. There you go, that's pretty good. I might not use any effects actually. There you go, that'll do. That'll do, donkey, that'll do. Okay, here we go. All right, so so I need to just rewrite this thing. Oh no, what on earth? A bit annoying, isn't it? Well, that's a bit of a joke. I can use that. Fine, I need that piece of paper now. Oh, so irritating. Okay, here we go. Fitness, fitness, fitness. Hi bro to you, Master Gaming. Having a protein shake. I'm just writing out my weekly checklist, which has kind of changed now. The priorities have changed. I feel like my long form content has once again taken priority, which it always was at the forefront. Like YouTube was always like, but then TikTok was also, I mean, TikTok is fairly important as well. Like you guys are fairly important, right? But in terms of actual content, I feel like YouTube is supposedly the most important, you know? Okay, so here we go. Hello, what is the largest country? That is not a fitness related question. It's probably Russia. It's probably Russia. Okay, so number one priority is a long form content, i.e. YouTube. So my main channel. Post 1 times video a week. Anyway, hi, what are we talking about? Hannah, we are talking about why fitness is so important for 30s and up, right? Also late 20s, I mean, like throughout your entire life. Hello everyone, welcome. So the thing about getting strong, building muscle mass, building strength training, eating right, eating enough protein, all these things, why it's so important to be fit is because, I'll just give you a little bit of story. So imagine that you are lucky enough to live long into old age, right? The likelihood is that you will probably eventually be confined to walking aids like crutches and whatever, walking sticks, eventually a wheelchair. Eventually you'll be confined to a bed where someone will have to wipe your bum when you go to the toilet. I know this because I used to work in the NHS. I used to work in a hospital. And if that doesn't scare you, well, it living well should. Like, even if you're young, this is your chance. Like, while you're young, go to the gym, get as strong as possible, right? Strength train, eat right, be active, stay healthy, because health is wealth. Because I've seen so many people in the hospital, they didn't strength train when they were, there's a clear divide between people who had lifted weights in their earlier years, been doing some sort of resistance training, and people who didn't. And the people that didn't tended, I'm just saying, they tended to be more likely to be disabled, and they struggled later in life. Okay, so super important, please. More likely to be disabled. Yes, Hannah has got it. Okay, so super. What accent is this? This is a British accent because I'm from London. Yeah, super. It's important to be strong. It's important to be healthy. And I just need, this is what my channel is all about now. People in their late 20s and up, 20s, 30s up, mainly like late 20s, 30s, because I'll be 30 next year. So I feel like my content is going to reflect like the stage of life that I'm in. When I was in my early 20s, I was posting like early 20s, well, pretty rubbish videos to be fair. So how do we train? Well, if we're kind of late 20s, 30s up, we need to be training minimalistically because we don't have time. We don't have time to spend 3 hours in the gym like we could when we were young, right? So we need to do exercises that give you the most bang for your buck, which is compound movements. So think your squats, your incline bench press, your military press, lunges, deadlifts. We need to be doing those. Not necessarily those really heavy deadlifts, but Romanian deadlifts will suffice because they will hit your posterior chain, they'll hit your hamstrings, they'll hit your glutes, right? Sorry, I'm just writing something down, teaching focus. Yeah, so we want to hit those. We don't have to hit them every day. We absolutely do not have to hit them every day. We can hit them 2-3 times a week, 2 to 4 times a week. If you're new to lifting, probably 2 times a week. If you're a little more advanced, I can't talk today. If you're a little bit more advanced, then 3-4 times a week is perfect, right? I personally do 4 times a week. I don't have to do that 4th day. That's a second lower body day. I just do it because I'm still trying to increase my squat, but that's like completely optional. I do a bit of conditioning as well for my plantar fascia and my hip abductors, but we need to be training 3-4 times a week. Super, super, super important. And you can exercise anywhere. Absolutely, Liz. Absolutely. When I say exercise, guys, I don't mean like just doing a little cardio circuit, elliptical bikes. I mean, that's okay. What you need, exactly, you don't need the gym. You need to be doing strength training. So, for example, if you don't have access to a gym, you can be doing pull-ups. You can be doing, even if you have dumbbells at home, or if you somehow have a bench, by the grace of God, if you have a bench, you can do so much with a bench, right? If you don't, you can do push-ups, you can do pike push-ups, you can do pull-ups, you can do squats, pistol squats, calf raises. Plank. Best lat exercise, absolutely pull-ups. So super important we get training. That's the first thing. Make sure we're recovering, hence why I've said, one, we're too busy to, if we're busy professionals, we're too busy to train 6 times a week like we were when we were like late teens, early 20s. So we train 3 to 4 times a week. And that means you've got plenty of rest days, which is perfect. Because as you get older, you don't recover as fast. You don't bounce back as fast. I'm sure you guys have noticed this. If you guys are in your late 20s like me, you don't quite heal as fast as you used to, right? You can't quite go out and get crappy sleep and then come back and somehow perform the same just as well in gym. I remember going out at uni, didn't sleep the entire night and downed a monster, and I was able, and this was when I was 21, I was able to hit a good deadlift session, right? I still PR'd. I would not be able to do that now. So that's another thing you got to consider. You got to consider your recovery. Okay? Bro, look at your arm, go work out. Yeah, exactly. To be fair, I don't train for bodybuilding. I train for health. I train for aesthetics. I'm a model and I need to fit in clothes. So well, absolutely, Rashad, but I think I made a video on how to pull up. If you DM me on Instagram, I'll send you that video because it'll show you how to. Healthy diet. Yeah, so we're going to talk about nutrition next, right? You don't need as much protein as you think you do, okay? You don't need as much as you think you do. Some people say you need loads of protein, 2 grams per pound of body weight, 3 grams per pound of body weight. You don't need to be eating 300 grams of protein if you weigh 150 pounds, right? 1 gram, yes, that's the maximum I would go. That's the absolute max I would go. More recent research has shown that actually 0.8 grams per pound of body weight is better. 0.81 to be specific. Okay? So you don't need as much. And this is just as well because carbohydrates will power you through your workout. So more carbs, more fats, right? And actually that's a good point because carbohydrates are not the enemy. You need them before and after workout. Fats are important for hormones, right? You don't want too many fats, but you want sufficient fats. Super, super important. Am I Asian? I am Asian. Okay. That's the key. Protein bars. If you're vegetarian, that's fine, as long as you get your protein in from a good protein source. right? Nutrition. We're also busy, so we don't want to be eating 5-6 times a day, because contrary to popular belief, you do not have to be eating 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day, right? You can basically not eat for the first few hours in the morning and then have slightly larger meals later on in the day, right? There's loads of benefits to this. Fasting has so many benefits on hormones. Our ancestors used to fast for hours in a day, and then they'd hunt in the evening, hunt like a woolly mammoth, eat it by the fire, eat as loads of food and just pass out by the fire, right? So that's from a prehistoric perspective. Our ancestors used to do that, right? Now we have food available everywhere. And the problem with that is people overindulge. And that's why obesity is a huge problem at the moment. People just eat out of boredom, eat whenever, eat because they can, right? They eat because they can. Your ears, bro. Yeah, man. Ears are good, bro. They hear everything. Also, Anthony Burns, your name, do you know what? I could say something and absolutely own you, but I'm just going to hide your user on the channel because you're not contributing. Okay. Anthony Burns is a dick. Okay. Anyway, sorry, what were we on? Yeah, so intermittent fasting. It's dividing your day into eating and not eating windows, right? Fasting, not fasting. So what I get a lot of my online clients to do, and what I do myself, is I just don't eat breakfast. I fast for the first few hours. I have my first meal at 12, and I have my eating window between 12 to 8, 12 to 9, right? It's 9 o'clock now. I'm going a bit over. It's not a huge problem. What that does is, by fasting the first few hours in the morning, has loads of positive health benefits, but also restricts the amount of calories you're able to eat in a set amount of time. Because believe you me, with myself and my clients, if we were allowed to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we could just keep eating. Because I definitely could put away like 4,000 calories a day, right? If I ate 4 or 5 meals a day. A lot of people will say if you're trying to diet down, you should eat little portions of Tupperware, chicken, brown rice, broccoli, 6 times a day. Keep your metabolism stoked. No, don't do that. One, right? It's a lot of prep. No one has the time for that. Okay. 3, it's not going to leave you satiated. You can't eat nice foods. You have to go to a restaurant with your friends and you have to bring a Tupperware. Trust me, I've been that guy. You don't have to do that. That sucks. We want flexibility. We want, a good life where, first 2 meals, we might eat something pretty structured. For my first meal, I have omelette and rice and a protein shake. Although I'm having it now, to be fair. Second meal, I call these my anchor meals. Second meal, and I get my clients to do this as well. By the way, if you guys are keen, I actually have some spots open for my online coaching where I am a physiotherapist and a personal trainer. So it's physiotherapist-led strength and conditioning. If you guys want to get strong, notice how I just say didn't build muscle because I'm not the biggest guy, but I'll tell you what, I'll get you guys strong, I'll get you guys lean, and I hope you build a body that will last for the years to come, because that's my physio background coming in. Back to the video. Okay, here we go. Hello everyone, welcome to the live stream. I just want to educate you guys today. That's what the goal of this one is, instead of just Q&A. I was so irritating. Right, so as I said, nutrition. 2 anchor meals a day. These meals, you can have a few different varieties, but they need to be very similar, so you don't have to think about them. And then the third meal is when you can have more flexibility, because you might go out. You might go out for dinner, you might go out to a party, you fancy a takeaway. And I program this into my diet. I program this into my clients' diets. They get to eat something very nice and satiating. Steak, chips, steak and potatoes, steak and rice, say steak so much, chicken, whatever they want, spaghetti, they can fit it in, right? And that's the beauty of the diet plans that I provide. 2 anchor meals and flexibility, stuff that people actually want to eat. You know what? I got one of my clients eating pizza. The guy put away a pizza. Like, obviously, he didn't eat the whole one because the macros aren't, you need to hit your protein, carbs, and fats. And we'll discuss that in just a moment. But he was able to eat pizza, and he was able to make it fit his macros. And of course, once a week, fine. Once a week, I say to my clients, yeah, whatever. You just eat one meal that you like, right? One of my clients, all right, I'm not going to say her name. Once her transformation is complete, I'm sure she will let me post a testimonial. She's down 25 pounds in 8 weeks, and I guarantee it's more. It's more than that now. Obviously, she started from a heavier point. You know, she's a little bit, her BMI is a little bit higher, so she's had more weight to lose, right? That's key. That's one thing you need to understand, right? If you're the leaner you are, the more difficult it is to lose the body fat. You won't be able to lose as much, right? But she's dropped a lot. A lot of that was water weight, but a lot of that is body fat as well. And I've got strength training, because you need to be strength training to maintain your muscle mass. By the way, guys, I appreciate this is not super organized today. I'm going to do like a webinar at some point. So if you guys want to see a webinar, follow me obviously on TikTok, subscribe to me on YouTube. I'm going to do a webinar at some point with like a PowerPoint and everything, just everything in detail, so you guys can like watch it over and over and over and over again. But also, this is the kind of stuff that I post on my TikTok. This is the kind of stuff I post on my channel. So of course, if you guys are interested, you know where I am. Right. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Remember that this is all to help you guys, right? So I don't appreciate any negativity in the comments, but most of you are really, like 99% of you are really awesome people and you're positive. I appreciate you guys. There'll be time for questions at the end. I just need to get all this information. I need to just force this, not force it. I apologize, not force. I need to give you all this information that's in my head right now, help you guys get fit, get strong, lose body fat, whatever your goals are, okay? And from now on, this is going to be the format, because before I was just doing Q&As, and the Q&As are great, but I'm not the Q&As are like, I'm just waiting for someone to ask me questions about fitness. Now I'm giving you the information. I'm like, here you go, here's the information, right? So we just talked about nutrition. We talked about flexibility, because that ultimately, if you're flexible, if you've got flexible meals planned into your day, you've got something to look forward to. Because who else is a foodie here? I'm a foodie. I love good food, and I go out and I eat quite a lot, okay? And I still maintain great shape. And even if I'm dieting, there's ways that you can plan around it. You can eat less fat and carbs during the day, eat more protein, smaller meals during the day, and then have that satiating meal in the evening, right? So that's key. Keep your protein high as well, 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. You don't really need more than that. You need to make space for fats and carbs, right? Filling foods, food choices are super important. When you're dieting, things like rice, yeah, okay, you can have them if you like. Rice and bread, tasty and delicious, and you can program them into your diet. What's more satiating? 200 grams of rice or 200 grams of baked potato? Of course, it's the baked potato. By the way, guys, I'm really sorry I don't have quite like time to answer all of them right now. If you hang about to the end, I will answer all of these questions you have. Or DM me, not on TikTok, sorry, because could you guys DM me on Instagram? Right, I'm actually going to plug my Instagram into the YouTube chat as well. You need to DM me on Instagram, okay? Because I don't see the message. I get about hundreds of messages not related to fitness on TikTok. A lot of them are first messages, so I don't respond to them because I have a girlfriend, but also it's not fitness related. Okay, absolutely love food, love protein, love carbs, love fat, right? So another bonus, a bonus of eating less frequently, and this is confirmed to me by my well, she's not a cousin to me, but she's like an older sister to me. She's a dentist. She's been a dentist for 15 years. The fewer times you eat, the better it is on your teeth, right? So that's why. That's another reason. Because every time you eat, the food is like causes your teeth to weaken, the enamel, right? And if you eat less, even better. Let me just stop talking for a moment. Okay, so we covered training. If you guys have more, I can go into more detail about training. We've covered diet. Okay, so like in the morning, what happens if you wake up and you're hungry as cow? Hungry as cow, hungry as crap. Do you know? So that's not a problem, right? We have plenty of water. Drink plenty of water, we hydrate, okay? Because how many times have you come in on a hot summer's day and you're like, I'm hungry ASF, and you drink quite a bit of water and you feel, oh, I'm not hungry anymore. Because you're thirsty, you're not hungry. So when we first wake up, we're not actually hungry. We are thirsty. We have that, okay? We wait about 60 to 90 minutes and then you can have your first cup of black coffee or some sort of caffeinated drink. Don't recommend like Monster necessarily. Sometimes I have it. I like a black coffee, right? Helps blunt my appetite, right? Helps improve my focus. It's a good fat that helps increase your metabolism. But also, it just helps me to like not think about food, helps me get on with work. I'll go maybe 3 hours without food. And then the 4th hour, if I get a bit hungry, I usually can hold on to 12 o'clock anyway. This is like 11 o'clock. If I get really hungry and I'm starving, I have a piece of fruit. Sorry, a lot of gas. Pink lady apple. And that will blunt my appetite for another hour or so until it's time to eat. And then of course I have my first anchor meal, which I've described. And then maybe 3 hours later, second anchor meal. And then of course, dinner, flexible. So we've covered training, nutrition. When you talk about recovery, guys, we need to talk about recovery, all right? Recovery is super, super, super important, because if you, the number of times I've been in clinic and people have been like, oh, I've been doing my exercises every day. And I'm like, why? Unless it's a stretching or mobility exercise where you're trying to increase the range of motion, if you've got stiffness in your knee or somewhere. If it's a strengthening exercise, you do not need to be doing it every single day. It's better for you to be doing it every 2-3 days if it's a strengthening exercise. If you train legs, if you do knee extensions, if you do squats, don't do them again tomorrow, right? If they're sufficiently challenging, you need to be resting at least 2 to 3 days. I think the minimum is 48 hours you can train, but I would say 72 at least minimum before training the body part again. More recovery is actually better, right? Because you don't get stronger when you're training. You get weaker when you're training. When you've just trained, you're weaker. Your muscle fibers have torn, you're weaker. You need to rest. When you rest, right, your muscle fibers repair, you get stronger. That is the key. That is it, right? So that's recovery. Things you can do to help you recover. A lot of people think, oh, I'm just gonna lie down, just gonna lie down and not do anything after a training day. That is literally the worst thing you can do. You want to get moving. You want to go for a walk. You want to go outside. You want to walk your 10 to 15K steps, and I'll come back to why that's super, super important in just a moment. You can do things like, have contrast showers, hot and cold, hot and cold. I've been having cold showers every single morning for the last year for like other reasons, not just for fitness reasons, but it's helped with my immune system. It helps speed up recovery, as long as it's not done too close to a strength training workout. You want that inflammation after you've been gymming. I do it more for willpower reasons. If you guys are interested, I might make a video on that. But yeah, super important. Yeah, I will get to sugar. Sugar is not the enemy. Okay, excess sugar is the enemy. But I did to make a video on that on my TikTok, so if you guys want to check that out. Okay. Also, Jeffrey Dahmer. The Ed Gein show was really, I've been watching that. It's really, really good so far. Really good. Charlie Hunnam is fantastic. Okay, so we talked about recovery. What other things can you do? Foam roll, massage gun. What does it actually do? The science isn't super clear. It's kind of like, giving your body a different stimulus so that it doesn't feel as sore, so you can train more. Make sure your nutrition's on point, you're hydrated, you've got your vitamins, your minerals, enough protein. Take care of your nutrition. Specifically after a workout, you want to get something sugary. Pay attention, guys, talking about sugar. The best time to have sugar is just after workout, after resistance training. It refuels the glycogen, because when you strength train, the energy that you get is from your muscles, right? It's all about the glycogen. Okay. If it's obviously not ideal if it's refined sugar, but if you are going to have refined sugar like a Lucozade, like some straws, whatever, that's the best time. It's the best time to have it after resistance training. Or even better, high glycemic index carbs like white rice, white pasta, white noodles. All that stuff is fantastic to have pretty much immediately after workout. If you have to wait a little bit, it's not a huge deal. There's no anabolic window. You don't have to worry about that. But it is optimal to get the food in as soon as you can, as soon as you start feeling hungry, right? Okay. Once the glycogen has been refueled in your muscles, that is when your body can start repairing the muscle fibers, right? Need more water. Right, I'm just stuck here until... So, key, recovery. So we talked about training, nutrition, recovery. We need to talk about sleep now. Guys, sleep is the best thing, right? Sleep is so important, guys. Sleep is like the thing where, if you don't get enough sleep, you will not recover. You will not get stronger. You will not survive without sleep, right? I think the longest time someone's gone without sleeping is 11 days, but he was a freak of nature. Okay, I think I've gone like 2 days without sleep. That's it. I couldn't tolerate it anymore, right? It's tough, especially when you train hard. Because when we sleep, our brain, heals, repairs. there's, I won't go into too much detail because I'm not a neuroscientist, but there's this toxin that builds up in the brain called beta amyloid. When you sleep, it is cleared. But the longer you're awake, the more it builds up, and that's what gives you that feeling of sleepiness. It's a toxin, so we need to sleep for that reason, for general health, but also your muscles repair the most when you're sleeping, right? That's how you get stronger. So everyone's a little bit different. There are some individuals that can get by with less than 6 hours. These are very, very, very rare. I think expressed as like a percentage of the population, it's like 0.000%, like basically zero. Very, very few people. Most people fall in the range between 7 to 8 hours, right? Some people a little bit longer. My girlfriend's a little bit longer. She needs about 9 hours of sleep to function, okay? Everyone's a little bit different. Things you can do to help you with your sleeping. And I talk to my clients about this. I talk to my online clients about this. Like, why do you talk to your online clients about this? You're a physio. You're a personal trainer. Yeah, I'm a bloody good physio. I'm a bloody good personal trainer. That's why I talk about it, okay? Super, super important to sleep 7 to 9 hours per night, depending on, for me, I get by in about 7.5, sometimes 8, all right? I think someone told me it's 8 hours and 12 minutes, but it's not actually that. It varies between different people. You want to make sure the sleep quality is good. Temperature in the room, 16 degrees Celsius to 18 degrees Celsius. It has to be cooler. Have you ever tried sleeping when it's hot? It's bloody impossible, isn't it? It's so difficult. Rubbish, absolute rubbish when it's hot. You're just sweating, you take off your duvet and stuff. So you want it cool. You want your environment clean. So clean your bedding sheets. I replace my pillowcase every week and I put like a paper towel over it for the skin reasons, okay? You want your sleeping space to be purely for sleeping and other sleep-related activities, right? You don't want to be doing homework on it. You don't want to be eating on your bed. Seriously, what's the worst thing is when you're lying in your bed and you pick up a bit of pizza crust. Like, why is there a pizza crust in your bed? It's going to affect your sleep. It's going to make it difficult. So you don't want to be doing that. Wow, by the way, just shout out to YouTube. YouTube is appreciating this content. It's like 30, 40 people at one point, but like TikTok is not appreciating this as much. Is it okay to live for most of the population? Probably not. So guys, I apologize on TikTok, and guys, if I haven't answered all your questions, but I'm really trying to give you guys the information. I'm literally trying to give you all the information. Okay? Okay. My client is my dog. Yeah. My dog is really healthy. She's gonna live a good life. She's my in-person client, if you like. And also, who wouldn't want to train their dog, right? Okay. Anyway, I'm from London. Okay, so we talked about sleep. What else is there to talk about? Training, nutrition, recovery, sleep. Okay, so we need to talk about, this is the last, there might be other things I need to talk about before I go into like Q&A, but we need to talk about non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is the number of calories that you burn day to day without training, like not including extra cardio, just what you burn, right? Like your activity levels, like non-exercise, hence the non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Walking, doing cleaning, doing the dishes, any sort of bits and bobs that you do, right? That's non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So the easiest way to think about it is go out for a walk 10,000 steps. That's around 400 calories, right? So let's just say you're trying to lose body fat, okay? You eat the same number of calories and you walk 10,000 steps, or 12,000 or 15,000 is probably better. Aim for 10 to 15K steps. You will be in a 400 calorie caloric deficit and you will drop fat over the course of a few weeks, few months, whatever. Let's just say that you're in a 500 calorie caloric deficit, right? This is the basic principle of fat loss, right? When people say to me, oh Matt, I'm not losing fat. When my clients say to me, I'm not losing fat. Actually, all my clients are losing fat because I listen to what I say. But when people say to me, oh, I'm tracking, I'm in a deficit, I'm not losing fat. You're not in a deficit. That's why you're not losing fat, because the math doesn't lie. But humans, we lie. Like, not me today, I'm telling the truth here, but like, we all lie, right? We can be dishonest at times with ourselves. So what we need to do is, what was I going to say? Basically, 500 calorie caloric deficit over the course of 7 days, that's 3,500 calories, right? Which is about a pound of fat. So if you are in a 500 calorie caloric deficit, you will lose 1 pound of fat per week, right? Which is, for most people, is about right. Okay, so I'm not known for like bulking. I teach people how to lean bulk, to put on muscle, progressive overload, eat slightly more than what they burn, right? That's how you bulk up, and you need to get stronger progressively. I'm not the biggest guy. That's why I don't preach all about lean bulking and stuff. I don't preach about bulking and how to get huge, because like I'm not the expert. And I know people in the comments will say like, you're so skinny. Okay, because that's not my speciality. My speciality is build a body, a physique that's aesthetic, that's strong, that looks good, that's injury free, that fits well in clothes. So fat loss is more my forte, right? Because I always have to get lean for modeling and stuff, right? And I get all my clients really lean. I get them to lose body fat. But that being said, I have got one of my clients. He's kind of taken some time off because he's got some family stuff going on. But when he gets back, we'll get him back on getting lean. Once he's lean, we'll get him to bulk up. And I get my clients to bulk up slowly, basically lean bulking to minimize fat gain, maximize muscle gain, right? But the progressive overload is really important. If you're going to be weight training, you need to be doing progressive overload, right? You need to be trying to get stronger each time. One more rep, a little bit more weight, pause the rep a little bit longer, take a little bit less of a rest period, all right? Increase the time and attention. By the way, I haven't scripted any of this. This is all coming from my knowledge. So it's crazy. Like I didn't realize I knew this much. I've been training for 10 years, and I thought, when am I going to get to a point where I can just educate people, where I can sit and just chat about fitness? And apparently, even with half of my brain awake, because I'm quite tired right now, it's nearly 10 p.m., I can still regurgitate all this information, which is pretty good. Right. Can weight be muscle growth? It can indeed. Right. I think I've covered everything. I believe I've covered everything. If it comes to me, I'll go on a bit of a rant about it. But now it's time for Q&A, which I know you guys really want to ask. So please feel free to ask. Yeah. Also, Jeffrey, go back to jail, mate. Sado. This guy's been trolling me. I've been ignoring his comments because he's a little... I'm not even going to say, do you know what? He probably just wasn't loved as a child, but there's no point in me giving him attention, so I just hit him. Thank you, Liz. Yeah. By the way, I don't tolerate negativity here. I'm here to help you guys. I'm giving up my time to help you guys. And if you guys are going to be douchebags, I'm absolutely going to hide you from the channel and we'll never see you again. So you can either be nice or you can piss off. What profession? I'm a physiotherapist. I'm a physiotherapist, for those of you who don't know what that is, like physical therapist for you Americans. All right, yeah, do. Sorry, I'm, as I said, I wanted to give all of you guys the information first, and now you can ask your questions. Where am I? So my mum's from Beijing. Can weight gain be muscle gain? Absolutely. My phone link. Okay, that's not a question. What was the question? Sorry. Yeah, do. What was your question? Hello. Thank you, yeah, do. I thought you asked a question. Okay. Do you have a video about adding numbers to pull-ups? 100%. So with pull-ups, it's a tricky one, right? If you're like only getting 1 or 2 reps, you need to just spam them like as you can day by day. Just as you walk past the door, just get 1 more. If you're already doing like 8, 10, geez, I mean, even if you're doing 5 or 6, you can do sets of those and just build up. It's the total number of pull-ups, right? It's the total number of pull-ups. Super, super important. What was I going to say? Yeah, sugary stuff coming post-workout. Lucozade, sweets. I wouldn't recommend this stuff, but like, you know, if you're going to eat it, it's the best time to eat it, right? It's the best time. Okay. Okay, questions. Let's go. Why did you go bold? I'm not bold, dude. It's a buzz cut. What's it called? 3mm. 3mm. Oh, you know, okay, fun fact about Dr. Michael Mosley, Liz Graham. I went to school with his son, Dan. He was a few years above me, but we did like fencing together. He was a really nice guy. I feel really bad. I didn't feel comfortable messaging him though. I didn't know what to say. So, but yeah, his book is great. He just does it in a different way. He does the 5-2 fasting. Chest bone hurts over wrestling. Ooh. It sounds like you might have just irritated the cartilage. Where am I from? London. How many pull-ups a day is good? I mean, I would rest between. I wouldn't do them every single day, but I think like every few days, maybe try and progress what you're doing with pull-ups. As I said, I write all my clients like an online proper pull-up program. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, ask your questions. Right, let's just go. We're doing well with the live. I think I'll go for another 10 minutes and I probably should go for a walk because I ate like quite a big dinner. Vegetarian diet, enough for daily protein. I mean, things like cheese. I can't take cheese, but cheese, if you can eat cheese, Like I know a lot of Indian people eat paneer, that's got protein, got to be careful, those got a lot of fat as well. Egg, protein powder, whey. Do I do deadlifts? I used to do deadlifts. David, go away. If you guys are going to be like people, obviously most of you here are like decent people who are obviously brought up correctly, but I'm here to help you guys, as I said, so that's why I answer like the serious questions. I'm all for like jokes and stuff, but if you're gonna troll, I'm just gonna kick you out because nobody wants you, not even your parents. Hey, it's me. I changed you. Oh, you did. Well done. Okay, fair enough. Carnivore diet. Ooh. So the thing is, all these different diets, the reason they work is because they put you in a caloric deficit. If you don't eat carbs, you're on a keto. Of course, you're going to lose body weight because you're going to lose fat because you're not eating carbs, right? You've cut out a whole nutrient group. Okay. 20 kilos. I wouldn't just jump rope. I would do it via diet and strength training. It can take a while if you're trying to lose 0.5 kg. It can take a while. It depends how quickly you want to lose weight. But it sounds like you're my kind of client because by the way, I helped one of my clients lose 25 pounds in 8 weeks. So that's about 10 kilos, not 10 kilos, 8 kilos or whatever. Sorry, you're writing a lot of stuff. Do you track weekly cows? Yeah, I track daily cows. Daily cows. I track daily cows, okay? Daily cows. Also, I've been posting a weekly newsletter about like all things fitness related. So if you guys are interested, you can sign up to my newsletter. Probably most of you won't sign up unless I give you a product. But you can download my free minimalistic training plan if you want. 1 time a week. Okay. So I'm just writing this stuff down so I remember it. Okay. How many pull-ups is good for a day? It depends, dude. It depends. And how many weeks? Okay, wow. How many no one push up? Can I talk in English, bro? I am. Can you talk in English? Can you understand English? We're talking about why strength training is super, super important, right? Because in your like 30s, 40s, 50s, the muscle strength you build now is going to be integral to living a good quality of life in the future, okay? If you want to be able to walk, if you want to be able to not be in bed all the time and in a wheelchair, and if you want to be able to wipe your own bum when you're like 90 or 80, depending how long you plan on living, then you've got to be strong. You've got to do the mobility work. You've got to do the strength training. You've got to eat well. You've got to stay active. It's so important. And I'm telling you guys this, even though some of you are quite young, I feel like you need to kind of be scared into doing this. Everyone should be strength training. Everyone should hire me as an online coach. No, I'm just kidding. Not everyone. I don't have capacity to take everyone on. I'm very selective of the people I take on. But we should all be strength training, right? And finding what kind of fits for you guys, right? The stronger you are, because when you age, right, when you reach about 35, 40, that's when your muscle mass peaks and your bone mass peaks. And then it's all downhill from there, unless you do strength training, unless you lift weights, do some sort of resistance training. Boom. You do that. Not only can you even build muscle, right? You extend that instead of dropping down, you can even push it. And yeah, push it. And then otherwise you maintain, you can really fight that muscle loss over the years, right? And because of the habits I've had for the last 10 years, I know I'm still going to be like, in fact, I'm probably going to be in better shape when I'm 40, because I probably will hop on that TRT because I will need it. But I'm going to be in better shape. I'm going to be jacked when I'm 40. And yeah. Tom Slam, 72 kg, 12 kilos. How old are you, dude? And why are you eating 1,500 calories a day? That's dreadful. That's a very, very small amount of calories. Asian and Do you know what? The guy has something right about business. I used to train at a kickboxing gym in Luton. I went a few times, at Storm Gym in Luton, and I never met him, unfortunately. But, you know, to go from the slums of Luton to where he is now, fair play to him. Fair play. And I am a fitness channel. And no, I am not gay. And there wouldn't be anything wrong if I was gay, then I was gay. But I do eat red meat, but I'm not gay. I am 17 years old and 6 feet. Yeah, dude, your calories are way too low. You've probably messed up your metabolism by eating way too low in calories. You need to go back up to your maintenance. You've probably been vastly under eating, and you've probably cause yourself some very mild metabolic damage, which will be fixed, Tom. It will be fixed if... Also, sorry, but at 17, unless you're like overweight, like really overweight, you don't need to be cutting. Like this stream is for 20s, 30s and up. Because you're still growing, dude. You can't be depriving yourself of nutrients. If you imagine depriving yourself of nutrients and you could grow another 2 inches, 3 inches, and you know, because you're cutting all the time, you stay at 6 foot. In how many weeks did they lose the 8 kilos? 8 kilos? What do you mean? Oh, in about 8 weeks. But remember that her starting point, she was a little bit more overweight. So a lot of it is sort of water weight and water retention and like glycogen. But that being said, she looks, her face is like leaning down, dude. I can't wait to use her as testimonial. That's going to pull in so many online clients for me. Can you do Bulgarian shoulder squats? Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cutting weight for a boxing fight. I get that, but if you're 17, dude, yeah. Okay. I mean, I personally wouldn't be, and you're a bit too young to be one of my clients, so I'm just gonna not gonna advise you. I'm gonna let your boxing coach do that because, yeah, you're a little bit too young to be one of my clients. But also, you're training for boxing, so it's something slightly different. I'm general fitness and health. How quick can I use? I would not do that. I would absolutely advise against doing that. Please don't do that. You're gonna really tank your metabolism. How much creatine is good for daily? The maximum amount of calories I would go in a deficit is about 1,000. I would not go any more than that because that's, you know, not great. Hi everyone. Hello everyone. Absolutely, can all be fixed. Yeah, so I have 3 tasks today. I post my long form, obviously, as you guys know, on YouTube. I have a main channel. I had an unfiltered channel, but I haven't been posting to that. I'm going to wait until like, because I literally quit my job at the beginning of the year as a physio to pursue the online coaching stuff and the modeling. So then I'll make an update video in like January, being like, hey, I've been away, but this is what's been happening. I booked this job, this campaign. By the way, I have booked my first campaign. Just want to say, campaign, and then online coaching is now pulling in like 3 figures a month, and it should be 4 figures pretty soon. So yeah, it's compared to where I was like, I hated my job, I hated my life, and now I'm doing something I absolutely love, which is this, social media and online coaching. How many calories? Dude, as I said, I would say that you're a little bit young to be doing such an aggressive cut, and I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm not going to advise you, sorry. What about 1,000 calories? Depends what your maintenance is. If your maintenance is 2,000, yeah, you could eat 1,000 calories. Would you lose a lot of muscle? Yeah. Would you be miserable? Yeah. So it depends how you want to do it, really. Rin says, you are beautiful. Thank you. I'm from the UK. And you? I'm from the UK as well. I thought maybe he was trying to be a jock. Absolutely. Physio goes and it just, you know, does so well. Physio, I think the thing that makes me more of a niche than a lot of personal trainers and even a lot more knowledgeable is not just because I've done personal training and I've been consistent, I'm in shape pretty much year round. It's not just the 10 years of fitness knowledge I've had from trial and error and learning and my own research, but it's also, aside from like all the podcasts I listen to, it's not even about that. The fact that I'm a physiotherapist means my strength and conditioning is physical therapy led strength and conditioning, which I can treat people who are injured. I can treat people who have had ops that are medically unwell. One of my clients has had a brain tumor removed, and she's absolutely, I think she's an amazing person. And so I get a lot of these medical clients, but I can treat anybody. And I can treat people who've just had surgery. I can treat people who are too good for regular physio, but not good enough for personal training. So that's like my no man's land. I treat people in no man's land. And I can take people who are able-bodied and they want to get strong, they want to get in shape. So I feel like this is the perfect profession for me. I don't feel like there's anyone who can do what I do better than me, like in my specific niche. I want to be well shaped. 100%. This is the time. It's never too late to get in shape. Obviously, it's easy to get in shape in your 20s, but that's why my channel is about getting in shape in your late 20s and your 30s, because a lot of people fall off at 30, don't they? Stop training. But 40s, absolutely, Glapino, if you're trying to get in shape, right? It's very, I mean, just, yeah. What is going on? Okay, sorry. Why is it's not putting all the I've missed a lot of the chat. Sorry, I have missed a lot of the chat. I'm trying to keep up, but I think there's a lot of stuff in here that I actually haven't managed to read through. So I'm apologizing to you guys because I had to get all the information to you guys. And now, also, one question I didn't answer. I do deadlifts, but Romanian deadlifts. I used to deadlift heavy weight, like in the 180, 190, 200 range for like reps. But it I can't now, right? Because I train in my own home, so the floor is not. You can't. You can't. You're in Ireland. That's cool. Salam, how are you? Scotland's cool. Ireland's cool. My girlfriend is Irish. Are you rap now? I'm not rap. Sorry. Okay. Any more questions about fitness, guys? This is going well. This live has been good. I believe I've helped. I feel like I've helped a lot of people. I've helped more people than there have been trolls. So that's the important thing. Maybe it's like a 10-to-1. Trolls to like real people. But yeah, I just I think I watched this YouTube video by Ed Lawrence and he said just don't respond to trolls because literally they're just so low IQ. They comment something stupid and they go off and live their little miserable lives. So there's no point like giving into people. Their lives must be so bad that they have to come and hate on my life, like even though I'm doing stuff that's helping them. Can you imagine what kind of human being you have to be like that? Hey Laurie, how are you? That's what. Oh, you've how's everyone? I can't. I'm just gonna translate that. Quanti. Uh, how old am I? So I'm 29. I'll be 30 next year in May. Irish. Thanks, Liz. Have you ever done something so wrong? No waste of energy. Yeah, absolutely, Liz. I just like it's just like a point where that's like me going to clinic in the NHS. This has happened before, and me treating somebody and them just being like a little troll or a little hater. Like, how miserable do you have to be? You know, I'm the person who's going to help you get in shape, help you get out from pain, and you're being disrespectful to me. Yeah. So I just feel people like that really just don't deserve a place on this earth, to be honest. But it is what it is. I'm a May baby too, Taurus. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Why you ignore my question? What did you ask me, Shiraz? Where are you from? Oh, London. Sorry, London. I'm not mixed. I'm not mixed. Can we try and keep this fitness related, guys? I still have so much knowledge I want to share with you guys. Actually, I suppose. Do you know what? The fitness part's over now. You can ask whatever, as long as it's like not stupid. Knock knees solvable 100%. Yeah, you probably want to strengthen your valgus deformity through. I mean, it's kind of once it's happened, it's happened. Like I have a slight varus deformity. I would be strengthening my hip abductors. Yeah. So TikTok, I was planning to post on TikTok 1 to 4 times a day. That just hasn't happened. I think 1 to 3 times a day is good. And then Insta and Facebook Meta on the business one. Okay, questions. Let's answer. What's the saddest person you've seen in your physio job? Well, I'll say one thing. They're not sad after they see me. They're not sad after they see me. Saddest person. I actually don't know. I think there's a lot. I had one lady just cry. There's loads of people cry in front of me. They break down. One lady had like cancer and she was still come to physio and stuff. And I was like, her cancer was terminal and she was still so positive about it. That broke my heart. I'll be honest with you. I don't think I have the emotional strength to work with on a cancer ward. I really struggle with something like that because, yeah. Yes, it was challenging. Okay, could have written that down, and then like one post equals serious. Yeah, so always try and post one serious fitness post per day on TikTok, and then the other 1 to 2 can be like a bit more fun. So that's like always try and do that. And then on YouTube I post once a week, and oh dear, that's not good. Okay, let me just stick that on here. Awake in the morning, I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high. Oh dear. Okay. Questions. You have a gorgeous jawline. Funny story. I am actually a model. Well, I do it. What happened, my friend? Everyone to stretch. Oh no. Something injections. Formula says you suck, dude. That's what your mum said, mate. Wait, now I'm gonna remove you from my channel because I don't need that negativity. But I have to put these low IQ people in their place. Do you know what I mean? Said I suck. That's what your mama said last night. Owned. Sorry, that was very immature, but I feel like some people deserve to be slapped. I'm not from the USA. Important to stretch after the exercise session. Yeah, I would stretch and do a foam roll and cool down after an exercise session. Do says you suck. Where's this happening? Wow, Liz, thank you. That's incredibly generous, and you didn't have to. Thank you so much. Liz just sent me £5. I was not expecting that, and I'm incredibly grateful. So, yeah, I don't do these streams for money. I just do them because I want to build a community. Okay, questions. And I've truly enjoyed your input, Liz, because you're not a troll, and you haven't posted anything. Like, I feel like when people post real stuff and they're like genuinely trying to learn and they want to interact properly and they're not just trolling, then I love it. But also, I don't get angry at the trolls anymore, man. I don't have the energy. I'm actually trying to do something amazing with my life, and trolls probably sitting in their mom's basement, like binge watching Netflix or something, and they never see the sun. So, okay, fitness questions. Or do you know what? Last 10 minutes, last 8 minutes. Let's just ask whatever questions, man. Ask whatever questions. I'm happy. I'll answer. If you want, I can make your website. I've actually got I've got website, but the website's not important. It's the landing page for my coaching and my products, but mainly for my coaching. So you guys want to check out my landing page for my coaching, give me some feedback, or if you want to sign up for coaching, I'll get you guys in shape, get you guys stronger. If you're injured, sort you out there. The only, so my speciality is build strength and inevitably some muscle, lose fat, build like a good body that looks good, fits well in clothes, and is pain-free and injury-free. Because let's be honest, guys, there's no point like being in the gym if you're just gonna get like loads of injuries, like, you know. Oh, okay. I'm trying to hang this up. Sorry, I need to hang this up. I don't want this bit of paper to fall. This is my weekly checklist for all my socials, and I've just changed things around a little bit, and it's all good. It's all good. I'll be with you guys in just a sec. I just need to stick this onto my computer. There we go. And I have no idea how I'm going to stick this on. Okay. Hi, Matt. Have you locked out your LinkedIn? Oh no, dude. Oh, I'm actually really sorry to hear that. I've just started using LinkedIn, and people have been looking at my profile, like loads of people, like 20 views in like 2 days. And I'm like, why are they looking at my profile, man? I haven't posted anything because I don't really have anything to post at the very moment. As of this moment, I don't actually have anything to post. So, ankle problem. Yeah, I deal with a lot of those guys in my clinic. A lot of that stuff is to do with mobility. So you need to increase that space in that talocrural joint, right? That ankle joint, the part where it bends up and down. And then you need to strengthen. Your strength standards should, after surgery, guys, if you want to get back to what you're doing, you have to be strong ASF, okay? You have to be strong ASF. And also, can I get some feedback? Did you guys enjoy this kind of, I mean, obviously, Liz, I know you did. But do you guys enjoy this kind of live where I give you guys all my knowledge and just spurt out all my knowledge? I've asked several. I answered that thing about something about the stones, Dennis. Injections work for you. Mount Jaro lost 8 stone. I don't know what Mount Jaro is. If you have another fitness question, I'll ask. Bro, I may not know your name, but your charisma and style. Thank you, bro. That's amazing. Do you know what it is? I got to remove some bone that was joining 2 other bones. Yes, that'd be like an osteotomy, wouldn't it? Thanks, R. I appreciate you. Appreciate you guys. Right, last 5 minutes. Let's make it a good one. Also, I'm going to recycle this paper. I actually know what I'm doing now. I have my long form priority and then my weekly newsletter that kind of fits in with my long form, and then my short form. But all of the content you'll see is like kind of related. So my long form is related to my newsletter, which is amazing, by the way. So sign up if you haven't already. And my short form is also kind of, it's all in the same loop. I try and stick to like similar topics. What camera do you hold when you're streaming? No, so my phone camera is Brill and my iPad camera, and that's it. When I'm streaming, I find if I do it on a mobile device, it just gets better traction, it gets better views. Yeah. What do you plan to do? I do look pretty energized. So knowledgeable, which is refreshing and interesting. Yeah, so that's kind of, I mean, I post weekly videos and they just haven't had like the traction that I would think they would deserve or get. I'm gonna keep doing it, but I know I can post content like this, and I've been streaming, and this is just giving me more confidence to make videos where I'm maybe a little bit more, not winging it, but a little bit more like freestyle, because I feel like that kind of works well. Hi, Deborah. Yeah. This has been probably one of the best lives. I don't know how I've had so much energy, but I kind of want to do a live like this tomorrow, but I feel like today was like an overview, and then tomorrow maybe I can talk about all things nutrition related tomorrow. Yeah, we'll do we'll do nutrition, guys. So tune in if you want to see nutrition tomorrow. We need to talk about that. And I spend a lot of time on nutrition with my clients because they need to get the hang of it. Once you get your nutrition locked in, everything else is easy. Fat loss is easy. Flipping gaining weight is easy. As in a good gaining muscle mass becomes easier. Getting stronger becomes easier because your nutrition's locked in. And then it's the training, right? The training comes after, and then the recovery, sleep, and increasing your NEAT. But the thing is, even if you're not trying to increase your NEAT, you still want to be walking 10 to 15K steps a day, because you want to get the outdoor time, you want to stay mobile. Oh, I didn't talk about mobility work. Maybe I should talk about that tomorrow, because let's not talk about that today. Mobility work, everyone has problem areas. So to use myself as an example, my shoulders, my T-spine need a lot of work, so I do pretty much daily thoracic rotations and like shoulder stretches. The butcher's block stretch, guys, this one. I do hip internal rotation because I used to have problems with my hip. They've been really good recently, but I still do the hip internal rotations. And I also I had some problems with my right ankle. I stepped in a little ditch when I was in Wales, and it's been funny since then. That's the only one I haven't been working as well on, and that's probably why I'm still getting problems. So yeah, lots of balance work if you have ankle problems. Mobility is important for longevity, right? You want to be doing mobility work every day if you can. Just 10 minutes is enough. I do 10 minutes maybe before my workouts, and then I do a good solid 30-40 minutes, about 3 times a week when I'm not training, right? Because I have 3 rest days. And yeah, it takes time, guys, but fitness is it's a lifestyle. It's worth it. You think about your nutrition, you think about going for a walk, which I should have done like an hour ago, by the way. I should have gone for a walk before I started streaming, but I'm going to go for a walk after this. Yeah, you want to go for a walk, you want to be mobile, you want to be strength training, you want to be eating right, you want to be sleeping right, you want to maybe think about cutting out alcohol, especially if you're getting into your late 20s. You don't recover as fast from alcohol, right? It's an assault on your liver. Smoking, try and limit that or quit that because it ages your collagen, it messes up your lungs, so yeah, like I'll tell you what, fitness has changed my life. I feel like it's improved my confidence. It got me a modeling contract, which is crazy because it helped me get lean. It helped me get in shape. It made me less depressed because before I had fitness, I was pretty depressed because it releases dopamine, right? It makes you feel good. You have delayed gratification because you're training through something difficult, and then after you finish training, don't you feel amazing after a training session, right? Yes, I've had 2 back operations. Wow. Keep walking and walking. Yeah, that's all right. And Liz, you need to be doing your strength training as well, and you're fine. It's time to sleep. Yeah, good night, Rishab. Nice to have you here. You look like Jackie Chan. I'll take that. Jackie Chan and BTS they're good looking, aren't they? Okay, yeah. Yeah, all right. So, I mean, we'll do the same tomorrow. You know, my message is so simple, like fitness for 30s. All my videos are on this. A lot of it is like the same content, but I just go into more detail, I refine it. So, do you know what? Sod it. Like, a lot of this will be repeating myself, but a lot of the time when you tell people stuff, it doesn't always go in first time, right? So, yeah. All right, guys, it's been an absolute freaking pleasure. As I said, if you guys want to see more, I will do another live tomorrow on like nutrition. Okay, so make sure you follow me for that. It's been a pleasure on YouTube. I'm sure a lot of you have subscribed. Thank you so much for coming and tuning in. And I will see you guys, you YouTubers, tomorrow, right? And TikTokers later on. Okay, pleasure. Have a nice night, guys.